Back with you now. We're back. Damaging winds. That's the power lines come down. A couple of locations here on the main road. Bear Island up here at North Sales. Some power lines have come down off some of the poles, and the winds are really screaming. We just had a real heavy core, and show you back radar here. We've had a real heavy core come over this area, this north side area. We're getting pounded here, and the velocity of the winds are about 70, 75, and you can see here we're just getting pounded in this area. The radar's messing up, but basically we're getting pounded here along the coastline right now, and we're continuing to watch. There's storm surge, high tides in 2 hours. That's back up along the coast here, just north of me here, about 5 miles, high tide. And as that occurs, then we're gonna have, the storm surge is gonna come over this wall right here as the back of the wall. Let me see if I can take you out here real quick. I just gotta make sure there's no flying debris. It's really windy out here. If I get my glasses on it again. We'll go out here real quick and just take a look here. Stand by. Yep, it's blowing. Hang on. Stay with us. Here we go. So let's go up over this wall here real quick. I don't know if you can hear the wind. Another mobiles. I've got some, some flaps and some of the tarps of the mobiles I've been telling you about all day. They're starting to break loose on the tarps and the mobiles. Haven't seen anything rolled yet, but it won't be long. Winds are just peek over the wall here. Remember, we're still about 2 hours away from high tide. And winds are about 60 sustained here. 70 gusts to 75. Look at the bed. Look, this is the other side of me. Look at this. And we're still 2 hours away from high tide. Look at this. Huge battering waves. I'm going whiteout conditions. It got white foam, whiteout conditions now along the Bear Islands. Winds are 70, 75 on the Bear Island now. And then we got just whiteout conditions now, blowing rain, sea foam. You can barely see it, maybe a quarter mile down the road here. Large battering waves. We're still low tide. High tide's on their way up. High tide about 2 hours. And the ocean's gonna rise about 9 feet, 6 to 9 feet as we get toward the storm surge and the high tide. And the large battering waves gonna come over these dunes, and then we're in trouble out here. I'm not gonna here, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna be getting off the island here in about an hour or so. Mobile hole, fifth wheel areas here, hundreds of fifth wheel. We've got 75, 88, 590 here. Next couple hours, I'm sure these are going to start rolling. There's going to be a lot of flying sheet metal here before long. It's whiteout conditions here. Hurricane force winds coming ashore. Oh my gosh. Wow. We wipe off everything. God. Man, when you get in the car, it's like salt water. You can feel salt water in your mouth from the flying, from the spray off the ocean in the air. It's just salt water's everywhere. Wow, what a mess. Just a second, I'll put this back up. Jeff, yeah, high tides around 4, 6-ish, around 6, 5:30, 6 o'clock, high tide. No car works this event. $11:30 tonight, okay. I was told it was 5. Low tide's at 5, thank you. High tide's at 11. Oh, it's even worse then. Thank you. Still getting hammered by large, big waves. The eye's not, wow, the eye's still southeast. I mean, I can't believe this thing is crawling. It slowed way down. This thing is slowed way down. Oh, so the high tide does start at 5:30. The eye, it's gotten much, the eye's closing off. It's gotten much better, more intense convection. Let me just show you this real quick. The eye is closing off here just a little bit. If we loop this, I'll put a little circle there, just kind of get center point. You can kind of see what it's doing. What's interesting is, I'll stop the loop here. What's interesting is that you're getting the eyes come down a little bit. It's shrink just a little bit, not a lot, but it has come down a little bit. Let me measure how far that it's across now. It looks like it's probably 10 miles, 20 mile eye, okay? But what's interesting is we're getting this 40, 50 dBz wrap. We're getting this heavy convection now forming around the eye. And some of the models, it's not going to go to Cat 4 or 5, but some of the models says as it approaches the coast real slowly, and the water's very warm in here, and the shear is weakening. That stopped it last night and yesterday. It's pulled away, and it says the conditions are very favorable for this thing to maintain or intensify slightly. Maybe go back to Cat 3. They got it Cat 2 now. As it comes northwest here, this inner eye wall is tightening up. It's getting smaller, and as it gets smaller, the winds are getting more stronger. So as this pulls off to the northwest of us here, or southwest of my location, but as it pulls off to the west-northwest, as it comes this direction, up towards us, and technically it's supposed to do one of these numbers. Technically, let me back out here. There's Wilmington, so it's supposed to come up here, something like this. It's not exact science, guys. It's close. It's whatever it does in that. As it comes up like that, then the really massive onshore flow, the really large battering waves are in this general area, roughly ballpark, and this northeast quadrant here. This is where the very 20 to 40 foot battering waves are, and the water surge as this eye passes toward Wilmington, and we go from an offshore flow that we've got right now, northeast winds offshore pushing the water away, even though we still got big tide, big battering waves here. Then as the eye passes, we're going to go down onshore flow, and then that's when the water's going to rush in like really bad. So as this eye gets over here, if it takes 6 hours, 8 hours, midnight, I don't know. When this eye gets over here and we go to onshore flow, then this whole coastline, Morehead City, Emerald Isle, they're already getting hammered up there. I've talked to somebody the other while ago. They're getting really large battering waves. Storm surge is already on this area. Then it's going to make its way down the coastline here as it goes down to Wilmington, and then after 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight, we expect massive storm surge. I expect a very bad storm surge where I'm at now, southward to north of Wilmington, as the eye continues to track to the northwest and these large battering waves come ashore. That's what's going to unfold over the next 2 to 3 hours, 6 hours, as this thing slowly, we'll loop it here, it's going to slowly pull northwest, and it's really slowly pulling northwest, and you can watch the eye there. But this is the more damaging winds is in the center here, and around this damaging, and this is the spiraling bands, potentially some tornadoes. And if we go back to velocity, you can see the velocity data on here. It's going to load here slowly, but it's you can see the eye, you can see the winds there. Look at this is winds offshore. Winds offshore. I have to get my orientation right here. So we got winds offshore going away from the Doppler, okay? And these are winds coming toward the Doppler, okay? So you got the Doppler, you got onshore, offshore, and then the eye is here, obviously is right here, and as this eye tracks, whatever it does, goes like this, at some point, it won't be long, because we're only about, from here, my location to the onshore flow is only about 43 miles away. So as this eye passes, then we're going to get onshore flow coming up, and then that's when we're going to get this massive storm surge and also very damaging storm surge and tidal surge, as well as damaging winds coming through this area. So this is what we're watching for, and expect it's going to happen as the afternoon goes on here. So that's kind of a quick weather update from this perspective. We're going to continue to let it roll here, and we'll see what we come up with. And just continue to watch everything here as this first batch is coming by me now, and see what if I've got any higher winds back to my west coming at me. They're actually, I've got some winds pretty strong back west, actually, back east of me, northeast of me. Let's see what we have here. Switching radars between Morehead City and Wilmington radar, looking at the next rad and seeing what kind of winds we have overhead. Interesting. Wow. From Morehead City, I have winds this is not the surface. This is aloft, about 3,000 to 4,000 feet. 75 to 88 mile an hour winds, making a beeline right toward us from Sneads Ferry right to where I'm at the North Topsail Beach area. They got damaging winds for sure in the Sneads Ferry area coming back down toward our location. So we got damaging winds continue to increase as they're coming this direction. I'm going to keep moving around here and let's see what's happening. Did see some power lines loose. You'll see some stuff blowing around occasionally. You know, keep your eyes peeled. Visibility's dropped dramatically. Very low visibility now so far. Just looking, I'm keeping my eyes out here. Look right here real quick. Got something blew out of the mobile area. I don't know what's on the ground there. I'm not sure what that is. Vases or something went flying through the air. It's in the street. There's flying debris here. There's stuff coming off these mobile homes and these travel trailers that are starting to, you know, blow around a little bit. I haven't seen anything blown over yet, but this area could be in trouble as the evening goes on with damaging winds. I'm not going to go in there just in case something decides to roll. I don't want to be stuck in debris. But there's loose stuff flying through the air now. I'll show you back here to the right. There's stuff coming out of this area. You can see stuff on the road in front of me here. Just a minute. A little small. You see the two white ball-looking deals? That's stuff that's coming out of here. That's stuff that's starting to go airborne. As higher winds come in, more and more debris starts becoming airborne and starts landing in the road and moving areas. So I'm going to go back to the east here. I know everybody's worried about that storm surge and those big battering waves back east, but we're still about a good hour or hour and a half away before the high tide starts coming up again. It's not a surge in a few seconds, but a few minutes. But it takes time for the high tide to come up, and it's probably going to occur very close to when the hurricane's passing, just south to my southwest, which should create a high tide with maximum storm surge, with maximum wave height at the same time as the hurricane's northeast quadrant. So we're going to have a triple whammy coming in the next 4 hours out here. It's going down. It's happening now, and it's only going to get much worse. Going to continue to watch the Barrier Islands here and making sure that, again, we still have offshore flow. So until the wind comes around completely to that east-southeast wind onshore flow, that's when we'll have the really bad storm surge. We'll have storm surge breaking the sand dunes again once the high tide starts coming in. Okay, I've got to take care of a business situation right now. Okay. I'm just reading. I'm bringing the other phone up. I've had the other phone off, so I'm bringing it up. People are trying to reach me on the other line, and they can't because it's off. I don't know where I'll be later. It's very dynamic. It's a long duration event. There's just too many things going on to tell you exactly where I'm going to be at what time and what. There's just hundreds and hundreds of things that are changing by the minute, and it's impossible to know where I'm going to be in any moment. Gotta watch these back roads, make sure that we don't get caught from storm surge. Still, high tide's not here yet. Still a couple hours probably away here. These guys are bailing, so I wonder if there's something's going off to the east here. People are dinging me. These are turn the phone on. I'm getting all these old messages. That's what you're hearing dinging going on. It's not texting. It's just the phone from voicemails and texts I got 40 minutes ago when the phone's off. And as the phone, you get back in reception, then you start getting flooded with all these texts and emails coming at you at like warp 9. Okay, I'm watching this back bay. This back bay is rising. The intercoastal water's getting high. It's come up probably another foot. Got to keep watching this back bay here. Watching the back areas, making sure that we're not going to get slammed. Wow. Water's there, sand's deep. Too much debris in there. Water's about a few inches right here. So we're getting inland flooding now. We're going to start getting freshwater flooding from the heavy torrential rain, as well as the overwash. Yeah, did I already talk to you a while ago? This is Jeff Petrusky. That's fine. Have we already talked? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Hang on just a second. Just do something here. Just give me 1 second here. Stop here. I'm in the hurricane, so it's hard to do everything here. So I gave you. Getting bad. Okay, the winds are screaming. All right. Not right now, John. Flying debris across the street in front of me. Damaging winds. There's stuff flying in the air now. Okay, guys, just stand by. Man, this stuff's getting. Okay, we're getting. Look at the winds. Look at the winds. Okay, I'm not gonna move. There's gonna be stuff starting to go in the air. Got to be careful. Got to watch these wind surges between the houses here. Make sure we're not going to start getting roofs taken off. The winds are definitely over 70. Remember I told you a few minutes ago there's this high surge coming down from the northeast. I could see it on radar of 75 to 82 mile an hour winds to my northeast, surging southwestward around the eye. And those damaging winds are coming across the island, Outer Barrier Islands now. And it's up to, got the people moving. Those damaging winds are going to be up to my northeast here. It's going to be at Sneed's Ferry, coming down to North Topsail Beach, 75 plus now, coming over the Outer Barrier Islands from the northeast, surging southwestward around the eye wall. So these burst of winds are going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as we go. So we are now at 4:15. I said 5 p.m. was my number at 12 noon. Somewhere around 5 p.m. Eastern time, we start having damaging winds onshore, and we now have that. And I've got power lines to my left coming down. They're in the trees. You see right to my left here, there's power lines sagging about 8 foot down now. The water in the back bay is coming up. Water in the back bay is now coming up because I've just looked to my left and the water is up like another foot. I can see the water rising off to the left of me. In the back, that's going to be the intercoastal bay side. Water's rising. see what we've got up here. A bunch of emergency flashers. I don't know if the winds are pretty strong. It won't take much more before we start having a lot of flying debris. Just about another, there's a threshold at 70 starts it, and you get up to that 80, 85 gust, 90 gust, and you really start getting lots of debris flying. We're not there yet, but we're not far from it. Here's some stuff I shot. This is stuff I shot this morning. Look at that door here. That's the north wall of that house got blown out the garage. The south wall is completely gone, and this is the storm surge from earlier. And this will be much worse here in a couple hours. That's the north doors. These north doors blew out about 2 hours ago. Actually, about 10 o'clock this morning, those blew out from the storm surge. They're in high tide. This eastern end here is already had significant storm surge and battering waves from earlier during high tide at around 10 o'clock roughly this morning, 9, 10 o'clock. That's when we had the damage here. And damage is continuing. I'm watching two bay areas of water immediately to my right, which is the Atlantic Ocean, in the sense of the water and overspray. I'm gonna see if we've got water. As soon as I see water breaching any of these road outlets here, I'm moving, because it's telling you it's gonna come. When it comes up, it's relentless, and it's fast, and it's swift, and it's extremely dangerous. I can tell you that. So we're looking at the walls here on the south side. The dunes mostly are intact, but they've been eaten. About half the dunes are now gone. Half the dunes are gone in a sense of a thickness, you know, kind of between the road and the ocean. Half the dunes are gone. So this next hit at 6 to 10 o'clock tonight should take a lot of the dunes completely down to ground level, and then by then the water will be up 6, 8, 9 feet. And with battering waves on top of that, that's when the entire area is going to be inundated with water. Tremendous storm, tremendous damaging, destructive winds, as well as storm surge and battery waves of probably 10 to 20 feet on top of the storm surge. Okay, got to keep this as things are rapidly changing. Got to keep watching on both sides of the road here. There's more people watching the overwash here. Boom. Got it. All right. People making inquiries there. Let's see what we have here. Got it. Okay. Wow, water's backing up. 813, thank you. Watching the back bays. Water's continue to rise in the back bays. That's the intercoastal side. Ooh, let's look at this. I'm gonna flip around real quick. Just saw something I want to go film. There's a kind of a nice elevation road right here. You can see the intercoastal water rising with the white caps on it. This is the road, yeah. This is Barton Bay Yacht Club. Barton Bay Yacht Club. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, this is, wow, this is really bad. This is Mike. Let me see what his max wind is here, what he's registered so far. I don't know if he can even talk to me. I'm gonna get out and talk to this guy real quick. Hey Mike, what's your max wind so far? 44. Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh. Wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Just talking to Mike. There's another chaser, and he's got some wind instruments. Let me. He's got upper 40s on his winds here. Sustained upper 40s, gusts in the 50s. We've got. Let me show you this if I can get over there. Let me see. I don't want to see this back bay here. Let me see if I can show you this. See this little, I'll try to stop right here so you can kind of see what's going on. What's going on here. And this is the like the back inlet. This is like the back of the bay, and the water from the intercoastal is coming back. It's a little bit blurry there. The water's coming back from the intercoastal off to our right, and the water's rising in these back inlet bays here on the north side of the barrier island. This is the north side, and literally like 30 yards to my left is the ocean from the south side. So the two are meeting. I mean, it's rising on both sides. So at some point in the next 2 to 4 hours, this is going to be completely underwater. We're going underwater where I'm at right now. We'll be 5 to 6 feet above the road here. This whole thing is going to be flooded. And this surge is coming. I mean, there's somebody just sent me a message and said they let me look at this before I say this. Somebody just sent me a message and said they just sent me an image of the current wave heights offshore coming at me. And let me see what they said here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was, I believe it was 30 to Carolina. Oh, there it is. Okay, Ken just sent it to me. Here we go, 12 minutes ago. 36-foot wave heights are 26-foot wave heights is just offshore right now. Let me retweet this. And this is Barron. Okay, stand by. This is the guys at my at Barron Operations in Huntsville that is doing this. And this is our current weather wave heights. This is our XM product, and this is this is in the, it looks like the link system, and it's our weather display system for both TV and government, and we have an emergency managers as well. So this is real time. This gives me real time. It takes buoy data. It takes data from the satellites. They can see down through the clouds, and it takes real-time information and the surge and the hurricane force winds, and it maps out the storm, the wave heights coming at the coastline. And as you can see right up now, up in the general area where we're at now, the high big water is coming on shore. You know, we went from like 8 feet, 10 feet earlier today. Here's 26-foot waves off, just barely offshore. We're right here, so we're probably in the 15, 18 foot, and then look what's coming, 26, and I got 35. Look at this. Just northeast of the northeast quadrant of the hurricane's right here. There's the center, the northeast corner, and see how it's just placed about 20, 30 miles, maybe even 40 miles to the northeast of the center. You've got this northeast quadrant here of this tremendous storm surge and battering waves. They're making their way northwestward, and that's going to affect, and let's go to another map. There's Wellington there. We're up right here in this general area, and so let's go to just a standard Google map, and I can tell you where I'm at here, Sneed's Ferry. This is the area. So Wellington's down here, Wilmington, and then you got Sneed's Ferry. And this water it's getting this squeeze play with the hurricane down in this area. The big storm surge is in this northeast quadrant of this bay, and that water is surging all toward Emerald Isle, Swanson Bay. It's going to be in the New River Inlet on the back here, south of Jacksonville. That back stream of Jackson, you're going to go under very deep water. 9-foot back surge on the back bay here is coming. That's what the forecast is. It's going to verify. And this big surge of these large battering waves of 28 to 36 foot is offshore, making their way toward the coastline. And over the next 3 to 6 hours, these tremendous waves during high tide starts a little after 6 p.m. Then these large battering waves are going to just inundate North Topsail Beach, also Surf City, Topsail Beach down south. All these outer areas here are going to get inundated with large battering waves and storm surge. It's coming. It's on the way. The data doesn't lie. It's not a model. It's not what we think is going to happen. It's real data. It's telling you monster storm surge, monster waves are on the way. They're coming. So looking at the data, I've been looking at that data for, 20 plus years at Barron, and I can tell you, you better, when it says it's coming, you better take it to the bank. I mean, you can just flat tell you it's coming. So I know there's something horrible is going to happen out here over the next 6 hours. I mean, it's coming. it's like a, it's not a tsunami, but it's coming. So you got to trust the data, and I trust the data 110% because it's telling me very bad, damaging waves and storm surges on the way to this outer barrier island and all up and down the coast here. So it's going to get really intense. The winds are picking up, and this is going to continue to get much, much worse as we go forward here, okay? So this is what's happening. That's kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes. This is the kind of data you have to have if you're emergency managers, if you're TV, if you're the government side of the house, Marine, Coast Guard, if you're any of those kind of people, that's the kind of data you have to have access to understand the threat of what's coming at you. And so we'll see how this plays out. But that's data that's just, it's invaluable in these kind of situations, even though it might be a Cat 2 or a Cat 1 type hurricane. But it's really nothing. Intensity of the hurricane, that plays a role in the overall scheme of wave heights and those things. But it's really the storm was, Cat 4 several days ago, almost a Cat 5, and once those waves generate the energy, kinetic energy in those waves, just keep on coming. I mean, they don't just stop because the hurricane is weakened a little bit, because once you get those waves going, that energy from that northeast quadrant just keeps coming toward the coast until it makes landfall. And you can see the problem. What's going to happen if that eye slows down, and it's forecasted to take another 12, 18 hours to get close to Wilmington. So we're going to have onshore huge storm surge, battering waves all night long, all on the south shoreline. So as that happens, things are going to continue to get very destructive. And as you start tearing down the dunes, then obviously the island's going to go underwater, and then into houses. And then as the winds pick up, you're going to start peeling real soft. At some point that'll start happening. The question right now for me in the back of my mind is we're now about 2.5 hours from dark. Got about 2.5 hours of daylight left. The problem is that most of this extreme, not all of it, but a lot of this extreme is going to start coming in right before dark or right after dark. So that is the challenge we have out here, is that a lot of this stuff may come in right as it's getting dark, the worst of the worst. So based on that, you can't be out here driving around, on a barrier island with 36-foot waves coming towards you, as well as storm surge and high tide all at the same time. And so that's extremely dangerous situation, obviously. So when it comes dark, I'm not out here, no matter what's coming or what's happened. I'm going to abandon the island once we get toward dark, because you can't see with really good headlights on, overhead lights. I got some really strong headlights, but overhead lights. But that could be. We'll see what happens. Yep, I've got it. Thanks, Scott. So I'm going to do a little search here. Let me call somebody. You see the winds are tore off some mailboxes right here. I mean, it's just stuff's floating around. Turn that off. I met a gentleman on the plane on the way down 4 days ago. He's over east of Wilmington on the coast, and he's texting me and asking me what should he do. And I told him to get out. Okay, here we go. I got very damaging winds now. I'm getting special updates now from multiple people. This is the last few minutes. 86 mile an hour gust at Cape Lookout. That's off to my east southeast. 76 mile an hour winds now sustained at Atlantic Beach. So damaging winds are, as the crow flies, not very far to my east northeast here. It's in the northeast eye wall. And let me just look here. Give me a second. It's not far across the bay there, across the water. There we go. Okay, just let me look here. We're not far. 30 miles away, I've got 90-mile-an-hour winds about to swing around and grab us. 30 miles to my southeast, northeast quadrant of the eye. It's, yes, and Doppler confirms what I'm seeing there. 75, 84. I've got 105. This is not at the surface. This is right above it, right above the ground level, like 1,000, 2,000 feet. 105, 109, 109, 115, 117, 93, 93, 93, not 109, 117, 112, 115. I'm just scanning real quick. This is going to be east of Newport, northeast of Newport. This is the Morehead City radar, and Atlantic Beach is reporting 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. I've got a big area of 75 to 80 mile an hour winds, 85 mile an hour winds, about 5 to 10 miles offshore here to my northeast and east. So the damage and winds are very close to us. 4:30 now, and I'm gonna go down here and look offshore here. I've got a big fetch in the northeast quadrant of the hurricane. I've got a huge area of 110 to 115. Let me see what max winds are here. 115, 121, 119, 117, 128, 117. Yeah, I've got some in the northeast quadrant of the hurricane. I've got winds in the 115, 120 range. That's probably at about 6,000 feet roughly. So the winds are big, huge damage and winds are coming, and the big surge is coming. Yep. Yeah, wow. Again, I'm just looking at the Morehead City radar, Doppler radar. I'm looking at the velocity data, super high res, and the velocity data coming off. Okay, at Wilmington's 138, which is 9 hours now. Okay, let's see here, let's see. Okay, Kathy's telling me high tides at 1:30 in the morning for Wilmington. Okay, getting hammered here again. Look at these winds. Mailbox is, it's about to go airborne. Look at the mailbox rolling at the bottom of the screen here. I'm gonna get back here. We're gonna start having flying debris. I'm gonna move. There's already debris on the ground. I'm gonna kind of get away from this area right here because the wind is getting much stronger. Just kind of keep an eye out. Gotta watch for stuff flying through the air here. Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you for everybody's tune this afternoon and this evening. Hurricane Florence, kind of the outer banks right now. Okay, so probably high tide's going to be maybe closer to 10 o'clock, maybe not to 6 o'clock time frame. So hurricane continues to slowly drift this way. This is going to be a really long duration event. Yep. All right. Got Watt Spring. Yep. Okay, getting damage reports coming in now from Morehead City back to my east, southeast. Damaging winds onshore. Trees are falling now. Numerous trees are reported coming down at Morehead City. The very destructive winds are on the eastern, southeastern flank. That's where I had the 100 to 105, 110, 112 at about 2,000 to 3,000 feet above ground level that are mixing down with the heavy air burst of winds to the northeast of the eye, and that's what's making their way down. So the damaging winds are coming. We're going to see damage here probably before sundown, based on everything I'm seeing on the radar. But the hurricane is crawling northwest now. I mean west, northwest, northwest. It's just extremely slow crawling. I don't know what this forward speed is, but it's very slow. So this is going to be a long duration event. So again, we want to say out, thank you to all the people working this hurricane, all the TV broadcasters, ladies and gentlemen, and as well as all the Weather Service personnel. You've got NOAA, you've got NASA, you've got the National Hurricane Center, you've got the hurricane flights continuously in the air, sampling the upper air data, as well as flying into the hurricane, giving us real-time data, drop-on data. And then we've got just FEMA. You've got everybody working from many agencies, public and private and government sectors, tracking their hurricane and trying to keep everybody safe. And obviously we're out here with a live stream, and we have a number of agencies, both private and government, watching the streams, watching what's happening in real time, and it gives them an impact on what's going to happen potentially ahead of Hurricane Florence as it continues to track to a very populated area, and that's going to be Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach, and we will be there. I got to play it really careful here as we get in that 6 to 8 o'clock time frame, and the damage of wind starts moving in, that I don't get trapped with the I say trapped, I mean trapped like get stuck on roads that with trees on them, trees road, that kind of thing. I got to be really careful about that. Providing that none of that happens, and since there's trees going to be going down, but I don't get trapped on this side of the island, that you want to make sure that we can make our way safely on 17 back up to Wilmington as 8 to mid. Okay, can you see it? Back? Is it back yet? Is the stream back up? Is the stream back live? Just say yes or no. That's good, thank you. Weather Nation here. Let me show you this. Back up here just a second and show you something live here. This is the stuff that storm damaged this morning. It blew out the back wall, came out the front, so south side, dune side, and then it blew through the first floor, ground floor, garage floor, and blew out the front, the north doors. It blew all these garages out here. See how the garage is blown out? You can see plumb through the first floor here on this unit here, this double unit here. You can see plumb through the first floor. That's what happened this morning when we were here during high tide. I think it was around 10:30 to 11. That's what happened earlier. And it came up really quick. It was hard, and it happened really fast. I mean, really fast. I'm alone in the sense no other body around me, or Kathy's at home. She's helping me there on the back side, taking care of stuff that all the stuff behind the back. Somebody just sent me a message and says, how about a hot pizza? Okay, you're gonna bring it out to the Barrier Island? I'll take it. That sounds great, a hot pizza. I like that Canadian bacon, please, with some pineapple. How about that? That sounds great. I don't know if they're serious, but I am. It's 4:42 Eastern Time. This is gonna be, oh, the poor American flag is getting ripped in two. There we go. Well, yeah, Windsor. Little restaurant here. The Fishing Pier restaurant here in the Outer Banks. You can see the wind and the flag up there. It's a it was in excellent condition about 2 hours ago. It was a nice, beautiful flag, and it was all one piece, and it's getting ripped apart from the Hurricane Florence right now. So they'll get a new flag. We'll get a new flag for these guys and get a new flag for them. So wow. You know, the thing I don't like already is this, there's so much, there's already water, a lot of water on the roads from just raining over the area, and it's always kind of scary when you see fresh water already piling up. A little bit of tree debris flying in the air. Okay, 27,000 people without power across North Carolina now. The power outages are rising, which reminds me, I'm gonna go do something real quick, and we'll see if I can do this real quick before I get in trouble here. I'm going to make a emergency run to a location, and hopefully I can do this successfully. I'm gonna go I've got to go to a Pacific location that has power and has gas. I've got plenty of gas. I'm at 3/4 of a tank. I've got another 15 gallons with me, and I've got somebody that is available to me that's got fuel. Is the only way I can describe it. We have enough fuel for a week with nothing open or no power. So we are mega. Okay, look at this. I don't like this. I don't like this kind of stuff. See this? See this fresh water? You know, see this water? I mean, it's getting just a little, about another inch deeper. You know what I'm saying? Probably a little bit overwashed from the left. Little fresh water, you know, rain, and this is just slowly rising. And over a couple hours from now, this could be 2-3 feet. Okay, this is why I don't want to be out here, and I won't be out here. This is probably my last pass through on this end, because that's it's a little bit deeper, about an inch or two. You got to watch it real carefully and kind of judge by the center yellow lines, and you can just tell what's going on. No, I won't be getting stuck. Yeah, so we'll stream first, you know, as long as we can. It's all about power. It's all about internet connection. It's all about, you know, trees going down. Do you have power? Those kind of things. Things you can't control. If we start losing stream here, we'll make our way. We'll be making our way back toward Wilmington as the evening transpires, and these damaging winds are coming up toward us now from the southeast and east and northeast, and as they make their way up to the coast here, and the storm surge makes its way up here in the big battering waves, then we'll film here as long as we can, and then the plan is to make our way back to 17, which is inland about, say, 10 miles, 10 miles from the coastline. Take 17, it's a nice wide road, and we're going to make our way back southwest toward Wilmington, and then the areas around Wilmington, such as the bays, the marinas, will start filling up, and I've heard estimates as high as 6 or 9 feet in some of those areas, and so there's going to be potential a lot of bad flood damage and flooding in the city of Wilmington as we get toward tonight, midnight, and after, as the hurricane is about to make landfall very close to Wilmington, maybe just south of Wilmington, or maybe just north of Wilmington, but very close to Wilmington sometime later tonight. It might be like tomorrow morning when it makes landfall around sun up tomorrow morning. We expect the hurricane to be making landfall near Wilmington, approximately in that area. I guess I need to flip over real quick. Let me look at this, make sure there's no damage yet. So like most of fifth wheels and mobiles are still upright at this point, this time at 4:50 p.m. Wow. Tell you what, it's gonna be interesting. Let me check something here. The National Hurricane Center. See what they've done here. If the 5 o'clock advisory is out, it looks like it may be. It is out. Sustained winds at 85, 100 miles an hour. So are we down to Cat 1 or still Cat 2 here? Let's see what we've got. Does it? Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. They got it at 2 p.m. just north of Wilmington at 2 p.m. tomorrow. 2 p.m. tomorrow, just north of Wilmington, northwest of Wilmington. So it goes southwest of me. It's going to take some time. And let me do this interactive map here. Watch warning, interactive. I like to get super critical tied in and see what it's thinking. Wow. Okay, there we go. Just waiting for this thing to update and tell me. Wow, there it is. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so it is just offshore at 12 hours at 2 a.m. About 10 hours from now, it's about 105. Okay, max winds 85 knots, 100. Max winds just offshore at about midnight tonight, roughly 100 miles an hour, gust to 120. Okay, so, and that's close enough to the coast. You're going to have that kind of wind on shore, right where I'm at right now, 100 to 120, and that's about what I expected. Okay, so I'm sitting there I'm just thinking about playing here. So at 2 a.m., it's about 40 miles off the coast, 50 miles off the coast, slowly moving west, kind of a northwesterly track toward Wilmington. So it probably makes landfall at Whitesville Beach, approximately near and just southeast of Wilmington at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. It's going to cross near Wilmington, 6 to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is 12, 14 hours from now. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a very long, really night. Okay, so I got that update, so now I know what to expect. Okay. Unfortunately, all this stuff is going to be happening during dark, which is just what happens. It's high risk, and it's very okay. The hurricane's making noise. Let me see what's causing that. Is that seismic activity making noise, or what are they hearing that noise on? I wonder if that's registering on the beach here. Okay, 19 minutes ago. This is going to be from the Weather Prediction Center, and they're saying that this is an updated flood forecast. This is freshwater flooding, inland flooding from the hurricane. Hang on, I'm trying to make sense of what they're saying here. Wow, 20 inches of rain. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of water. Oh, okay. So the big pounding waves off to in the Gulf, scratch that, in the Atlantic, is the waves are so large and battering waves that the seismic measurements in Alabama sees noise in the seismograph because of the pounding waves coming upshore now, and so it sends shock waves energy, and it kind of rumbles the ground, and you see it on the seismograph. Some are like large tornadoes going by 20, 30 miles from a seismic reader. It'll rumble, it'll shake the ground, and that's what the large battering waves are doing along the coastline. It's vibrating the ground. They're getting these, what they call noise on the seismograph. They can see they know something's out there because they're picking up these signals on the similar to quite like an earthquake, but like an earthquake signal. This high pitched frequency underground. Okay. There it is. Oh, he sent it to me. Okay. I'll tweet that out. Okay, I'm going to tweet it right now. Yeah, you can see all this noise. Okay. Ground noise, Alabama, Hurricane Florence on the way. Yep. Okay. So all kinds of devices. So we're actually picking it up like you're measuring for a earthquake. We know that the hurricane's pretty intense based on how strong the ground is shaking, and that's been commonly on the bigger hurricanes. You'll see that shows up quite often on the really big, powerful earthquakes and hurricanes as well. Okay, I'm gonna jump over here. Just a little bit of tree debris. I don't see any damage. Just had a couple little small power lines down back on the north end, I guess they call it out here. This is kind of Surf City area. We're in the Surf City area right now. There's another fifth wheel area. We're gonna go back east here and grab some fuel. It's supposed to be right up the street here. Yeah. Probably the Exxon station. Yep, coming up. So we'll go up here and grab some gas. No call from Ron. Don't know which Ron you're talking about, but no call from Ron. People may be trying to get a hold of me on different lines, and maybe can't get through. That's possible. Oh, Ron from the campground. I'm sorry. Yes. No, I've not heard from Ron. The campground so far is intact. No damage. Yet. But I have not heard from Ron. I can tell you he was, I believe he was a sailor. And he says, I was out in a ship so many miles off the coast, and he named it one of the hurricanes. I think he said Fran, I'm not sure, or Floyd. And he goes, I encountered 55-foot waves in the middle of the ocean. He goes, this little thing doesn't scare me. Something to that effect. It's like, okay. So got a little bit of tree debris. The road is small, pine from the palm trees. Not for sure. I may see what this is up here. That may just be that way. Let's see here. It's just a pole connected to a pole up here. For a second, it looked like something may have fallen, but or leaning. But I think it's a pole's helping a pole. I think that pole may have fell over. I just don't know. Let's see here. No. I don't know. No, it's made that way. Okay. So it's a support pole coming in at a 45-degree angle into the big pole carrying a lot of cables that's keeping it from falling. So far, not seeing any damage up here. Cherry Point gust to 71 mile an hour. That's back behind me. That's back to my northeast. All those high winds are coming. It's just gonna, sometime after 5 here, the winds will pick up and we'll start having hurricane force winds continuously on the coast. And that's when we'll have damage. Unfortunately, there's some damage right there. Looks like a bed blew off a balcony or some kind. Like a mattress, I should say. Not a bed, but a mattress. Somebody may have thrown it off a balcony, who knows. Don't see any damage yet. This is kind of the lull time right before things can get pretty intense. So right now we're going to grab some fuel. If it's still open, open it an hour or two ago before the damaging winds get in there. This Jeff. I'm fine, sir. How are you? And who are you with, sir? Yeah. I know who you are. Yep. Are you wanting to buy some of the video from the storm surge? Is that what you're looking for? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Do you have my information, contact info? You got this? Do you have my email and all that? Yes, you can go ahead and send that to her. Yeah, it's my wife's, but yes, you can send that to her. That's Eastern time. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any power or any cell service on this whole Outer Banks, but it's highly possible. Yes. Yeah. Hang on. I gotta go. Christine. Here we go. I'm taking you outside. Here we go. Get ready. It's crazy. Hang on. Look at the signs. I just got fuel here. The station pumps are on. Look at the lights. The lights are swinging. I'm gonna stand behind this pump. The lights are swinging. The winds are probably 65 sustained. Look at all the transmission lines here. The lights, they're screaming and they're swaying. They're gonna start coming. Everything's gonna start ripping down, guys. We're getting almost that critical threshold. You start getting closer to that 70. Starts getting up above 70. We're gonna be 70 sustained probably within the hour. I mean, we should be 70 and climbing. And as that happens, there's gonna be a lot of damage. I can tell you the winds seem to be stronger over here at Surf City. I'm in the Surf City area on the Barrier Island here. Surf City, Barrier Island. Got law enforcement. And if it's north of the breezeway, just about, you can see the rough. Look at the rough shaking. Look at those stops. Look at the stop lights. Everything's horizontal now. Okay. You can hear I don't know if you can hear the power lines. I'll be quiet and you listen to the power lines howling. I don't know if this roof's gonna, it should maintain, but it's bouncing and rattling really hard now. This is the roof on the Exxon station. I think it'll hold, but I'm not for sure. It's really making a lot of noise. Can you hear the growl? Can you guys hear the audio growl now? The loud roar? Full out north. We still got a strong northeast wind. Damaging winds coming up. Oh gosh. This is where I'm at. This is get rid of the Exxon gas station, or there's gas station deals here. Surf City, strong northeast winds. Yes, and damaging winds all through here. Now the outer deal. Let me get this up, get this anchored for you. Thanks, Ken. Oh. As things get wilder and wilder, the phone gets crazier and crazier. There's no way you can say it. Rip, yep. Let me look back to radar. Okay, it won't be much longer, guys. Man, this thing is crawling northwest. Ooh, the eye looks bad. Okay, I'll just tell you right now, the eye, it's gathered a little bit of strength. The eye looks really wicked. I'm just telling you right now, the eye looks very, very wicked. It's got that really bad look now. Let me show you this. Yep. Look at this. See this eye? Look at all this. Look at all these 45, 50, 55 DBZs rotating around this northeast eye. Rotating around the eye. It's somewhere in here. You know, it's somewhere in the center here, roughly. And this is very damaging core winds around the eye now. And the other thing that's happening is, look, I've got, let me go to radar. Looks like I've got tornadoes forming off to my east. Coming on shore east of Morehead City. This is very damaging winds all over Morehead City. Guys, I gotta tell you, this is looking like a more intense hurricane. The wind fields are tightening. The winds are increasing. It looks better structured as far as potentially more damage. We've got stuff flying in the air now. Here at Surf City, there's stuff going up and down. Look at the scan here. Look at all the winds here. 92 mile an hour. This is not surface. This is above my head. I've got 70, 88 mile an hour winds, probably about 2,000 feet above my head. And as the heavy squalls come in, that's what's coming to the ground, okay? That's those heavy winds coming in. 75, 89, 95, 97, 98. All south of Jackson here. See all these high damaging winds coming in, and they're rotating back southwestward as the whole eye is rotating, and you'll see these damaging winds surging in from the kind of the northeast, and the radar's going in different scan modes. That's from Wilmington. Let's go back up here to Morehead City and see what it looks like from there, because it's going to change. They put these radars in different scanning strategies, and sometimes just go over here to base velocity, and you get a pretty good idea what's going on. Same idea. All these are 70, 85 mile an hour winds. See all this? Just offshore, 75, 80, 85 mile an hour winds. They're all offshore. You got this batch inbound, 90, 95, 92, 97. And then here's this massive, massive onshore flow of damaging winds that are they're still going to rotate up toward us. Look at this. All these damaging winds here. These are all very destructive, damaging winds coming on shore. I've got lightning now in the northeast Iowa quadrant. That's going to be coming northeast, and all these damaging winds are coming onshore. Morehead City, Carl Isle, Emerald Isle, Sneed's Ferry. This is all going to come onshore as this eye continues to track very slowly. This eye is going to, I'm going to draw it here for you, ballpark. It's going to come in about like this. It's going to take about another 13 hours to make landfall, making landfall very near and probably just immediately southeast of Wilmington at sunrise. We're going to have, think about this, we're at 5 p.m. Eastern time right now, and we have going to have about 13 hours minimum. If not, we'll have hurricane force winds even after sunrise, all over the coast here. So we're about ready to go into the worst of the worst is coming on shore. This whole area is going to be all night long, 75 gusts to 120 as this eye just crawls north, and we're going to get pounded all night. And I can tell you right now, things are horizontal. Stuff's starting to blow. It's getting bad. So anyway, I've just topped off my tanks. Thank goodness. So power's on. So this is one of the things I do right before the power goes out, because it's going to go out. Okay, for weeks. So the last thing you do, I've got my tank full. I just filled and topped off my vehicle. I've got a full tank of gas, and now I'm ready to go take battle with this Hurricane Florence. It's as I say, it's game on. Here we go. It's game on. We're all over this. We've been talking about this now for 3 or 4 days, and the models were back and forth, east, off to the east, back to the west. And they've been pretty much locked on, making a slow drag toward Wilmington, and that's what it looks like to happen. Look at the stop signs going here. I'm concerned about over the bridge here, immediately north of me. Let me go check on something down the street here. I'm concerned. Let me see if there's damage. I think there could be damage down the street here. I'll tell you why. Let me go down there and look. Let's see if I can get to it. There's some. I was talking to some people here that were evacuating 2 days ago, and hopefully they've evacuated. This is on the open. This is going to be the intercoastal water on the north side of the Barrier Islands here. I'm going to the north bank here. I'm going to show you something. This is the area I was worried about. Okay, everything looks like it's still standing, but this is open to the water. This area here is open to the intercoastal, and as the winds continue to increase, everything's still upright right here, right now. It's upright. Nothing's rolled yet, but I'll show you. I'm gonna take you around this corner, and you'll see what's gonna happen here. This is going to be the open. This little court here is open to the water. And this is the northeast winds. This is the northeast winds. Look in front of my camera here. Look at the camera. Look at the water surge and look at the winds. Okay, see what's happening here? So here's intercoastal water. Look at the white caps. I'm going to turn this camera around. Here we go this is the intercoastal North Bay. Look at this. Okay, look at the white caps and look at the water. Okay, this is the white caps, and you can see what's going on. I mean, it's filling up. I mean, it was lower, and it's up about a foot, maybe a foot and a half. But the other thing is you've got, look at the flag. I've got a northeast wind here, probably 45, 50, 55, gusting 70, and it's going to get much, much stronger. But this whole thing is filling up both on the south shore and north shore. Okay, so you got water coming in from 2 different attack areas, and as those higher winds start coming in this area, and that we're at 5:15, I'm gonna say 9 to sun up tomorrow morning, 9 p.m. this evening to sun up. 80 gusts to 120, 80 gusts to 120. Look at the trees here. Look to my left here. Look at the trees. Okay, I've got flying debris. Something just flew off. It's trying to hit the side of the car. Just had a surfboard hit me. Surfboard just hit the side of the car. I'm leaving this area because the stuff just starts coming apart. That was a small surfboard just hit the car. I can tell these open areas, the wind is very fierce. Let's see, I've got a big, large marina over here to my left. It's probably, I hope it fares okay, but I'm just not sure what's going to happen with it. It's got a lot of potential high winds. You know what? Yeah, here we go, good. Okay, it's gonna get much worse here. We're continue to track. This is Hurricane Florence. We're on the outer Barrier Islands of North Carolina. We expect a 6 to 13 roughly storm surge with large battering waves we've had on the south coast all day, knocking down the dunes in multiple places, especially up north from this location. And that's going to intensify as we get between now and tomorrow morning, the next 12 hours. The worst of the worst is on the way, and it has definitely gotten much worse now over the last 15 minutes. Okay. This particular person here has the hurricane flag flying. That's the Surfside Fire Department. I was at this fire station the other day right here at Surfside Fire Department, and the firemen here were carrying out their furniture, their bedding and the furniture, because they said this fire station is going to go underwater. It'll probably breach inside the building. So they're saving their furniture and their bedding. That was about 2.5 days ago. I talked to them in length, and we talked about the hurricane track and the storm surge and what's possibly going to happen or could happen, and they're fully aware that of the damage and the risk potentially associated with Hurricane Florence. Still, no major damage yet, but the highest winds are not even close to onshore yet. They're not far. This is since the hurricane has slowed down, this is a really slow process. Most of the time when you have a hurricane making landfall, over a 2 or 3, 4, 5 hour period, the really brunt of the winds hit the coast. You have a lot of flying debris, kind of like Harvey. There's a full onslaught Cat 4, boom, it hit hard. It took forever to get past, but Rockport last year, but it comes on shore, lots of damage. I've got some go posts are down on the ground now. Like I saw they just ripped. I've got inner tubes in the air. I got boats now in the street, little rubber boats, I should say. And so this is going to be one of those things that takes like 24 hours to get on shore. So it's this high winds for just hours. And I know the wind's going to be screaming all night out here. The roar will just be, it'll drive you nuts. I can tell you that for a fact. It's just like you want it to stop. This is not storm surge water. This is just inland. This is just rainwater, inland flooding. This is inland flooding. It's not salt water. This is inland flooding from heavy rain, water already accumulating on the streets out here. Again, this is inland flooding. This is not storm surge water. Because the water's not over the barriers right now. But as we get toward high tide, then obviously this is going to go all out of water out here. A big area as well. And there's high and low areas along this outer bank. Some areas might be 10 feet, 10 feet, and there's other areas where that trailer park I was just at, that's at about 3.5 foot elevation. 3.5 I measured 2 days ago. So I did measurements the last 2 days. I did measurements. I have a little device that tells me, it looks at my lawn exactly, and it puts a marker down exactly where I'm at. And so I mark all these different places along the coastline, all the exact roads and exits and the on-ramps and exit ramps I'm going to take. And it tells me what the elevation is there, so I can kind of calculate in the back of my mind, storm surge, what's going to go underwater, what's going to be my escape route, not just out here, but inland as well. The bays and tributaries and creeks and streams. So I've been mapping the coastline the last 48 hours. That's kind of, we call it scouting. That's kind of going out and doing your due diligence and looking and talking to local officials and finding out what's going to go underwater from past experiences. But every hurricane's different. And then figuring out what the impacts are going to be. And then you want to make sure you're not in those areas when the worst of the worst comes. So you got to do your homework ahead of time. That's how I've been able to successfully chase for, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell my age, 40 plus years, and stay safe. Wind's picking up. Looks good. Okay, I'm watching, just making sure there's no damage. Okay, coming across another. Okay, these winds are crossways. I've got a winds crossways to these fifth wheels here. There's about 12 of them. They're still upright, but once you start breaching winds of 80 plus, it's gonna be game over with the damaging winds coming on shore. Heavy rain continues. We're getting probably 1 inch an hour rainfall rates right now with these heavy squalls. Very heavy rains falling. Keep checking radar. Make sure, see what's going to happen with the more heavy squalls. Man, that hurricane, boy, if it goes, man, that thing is still southeast of me. It's like, wow, I'm impressed. I got to just flat tell you, I'm impressed right now. The eye doesn't look too bad. It's got a little bit open on the southeast flank. It's a little bit exposed. We call that kind of a 3/4 hurricane when the back eye is open, which is not totally symmetric in the sense of totally closed off back eye wall. The southeast flank's a little bit of dry air, it's a little bit open there on the back side. We kind of expected that. Wasn't for sure how tight and how closed off it was going to be. Stop by the house and put your laundry in. I'll tell you what, I'll stop by your house and check your laundry if I can do my laundry, because I'm going to need some laundry done. I guarantee you with the salt water, you guys know the drill. If you've been out near the ocean, salt water, you got to get the wet clothes off and you got to rinse them out in the sink and get clean water, and so that stuff doesn't mildew and sour and all those kind of bad things. But yeah, it's not fun having wet clothes. But I'm in a storm suit, and I'm in actually a hurricane suit. So you still get wet. You're wet to the bone. You're just drenched. I'm not soaking wet horribly bad right now, but I'm about 90%. I'm pretty much a wet dog at this point. Kind of look like one too. If I took the camera, should I show you what I look like right now? Does anybody want to see what I look like right now? It looks like I've had a really bad hair day. Thank you for the nice compliments. Every time I go past an opening, I'm looking left 50 yards and to my right 50 yards, and I'm just waiting for that sign that says, okay, here it comes. And when it rises, if there's only one thing I could have wished for, is if this thing would have come in the middle of the day, or make landfall in the middle of the day, so you guys could visually see and watch. It's mind-boggling, even for me, after 40 of these things, 40 plus, that you watch the ocean and the entire ocean rises 5 feet, 10 feet, 15, 20 feet, storm surge, and you watch the whole ocean rise, and you go, how is that possible? Because this water, northeast and north of the eye wall is plowing north it's not just a little mile, it's like hundreds of miles of water being pushed northeast ahead of the eye wall, and that low pressure, and as it's pushing northward, it's like the water comes in. It's just mind-boggling. It's just, if you can do a time lapse of the surge, and not just the surge, but the whole ocean rising over a 12-18 hour period along the coastline, you'll never stay on the coastline ever again. I promise you. It's just mind-blowing. Because you just can't fathom, you can't imagine the whole ocean. You're used to, walking on the beach and the water's down, normal, high tide, low tide every day. You're like, oh, this is beautiful, and it is. But during hurricane season, typhoon season, around Indonesia and the Western Pacific, that ocean can really be ugly. Okay, the eye jog north. You got to watch it. Okay, but I'm not totally convinced that I've had a lot of intense talking to numerous hurricane people that are what? Uh-oh, stand by. May have breaking weather. Stand by. Wow. Okay, that's going to be a big change. Okay, I don't want to say that yet. Let me call somebody real quick. Okay, I don't want to make that. I was worried about that. What we're talking about, I've got some of the our weather specialists, some of our scientists and PhDs at the corporate office. We have a whole slew of weather team there, just PhDs. We've got hardcore scientists, tropical weather specialists, and we're looking at data from all kinds of information. It just pours in like you can't imagine how much data that's coming into the office, and we're simulating that data, putting out updates to different people that need the information and to rebroadcast. And as we look at stuff in real time, we start rapidly assessing how things are changing from what the forecast track is going to be forecasted to be and what's in reality what's happening. So if we see things going awry or not on track, we start raising red flags, and the more we see it going off course, we start raising many alarm bells to many different people and saying watch out. And so some of those alarm bells are starting to get triggered. So I'm going to make a call to the office here, and we'll see what they're telling me. Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, well, we talked about, yesterday and last night's runs last night, that, the GFS, the H Wharf, Hermon, VS3, they all, and the Euro course held tight to our south here down at Wilmington, but those other models are said it's going to try to approach the coast. As we get toward midnight, it's supposed to start taking a hard west turn at some point between now and 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. If it doesn't, then it's going to come ashore very close to me or even north of me, potentially. Can you do me a favor? Can you look at the Outer Bear Island and pull up, I don't know if it's Moorhead City or Wilmington, and tell me the high tide for this area today? Guys, remember, we're in the northwest, not in the northwest, we're kind of in the northwest quadrant of the eye. The eye's back to our southeast. I'm going to adjust this tool. The northwest eye wall is 65 miles southeast of us. Unless this thing starts turning left, the eye is liable to make landfall up to my north here, or near close to me, but maybe just up. Yeah. Not Wilmington. Come up the coast up north if you can find somebody. Go to let's do Sneed's Ferry or North Topsail Beach area or Surf City. At what location? At Moorhead, 11:34 p.m. We have another high tide, right? Okay, Moorhead, that's off to my northeast here, right? Yep. or east here. Yep. At my location, at topside, I've got my next high tide's at 11:30. Thank you. 11:30. So that's going to be way after dark. So that's when that's when the storm surge will hit us hard, which will be about the time as the hurricane is on its closest approach, roughly. So we're going to have high tide, storm surge, and hopefully potentially be in the northeast quadrant. But if this thing takes another north jog, it could even go up the coast from us. Okay, low tide at 6:15, high tide at noon tomorrow. Is that Wilmington or this their same area? It's the same area where I'm at now, okay? If just looking at Moorhead radar, if you look at the circulation, it's almost moving northwest. But at some point, is the steering flow going to collapse before it reaches the coast, and then just kind of start slowly getting pulled back to the west and make a hard left hook? Which model? GFS, GFDL. Okay. Thanks, Chris. I'm gonna jump on and I'm gonna look at the models real quick and see what it's thinking about doing. Hey, it is. I was just gonna tell you that I'm on Go 16 Rapid Scan IR, the 13 channel IR, and remember the models indicated that the pressure was going to fall 15 millibars as it approached the coast, and it looks like to me that's underway now. I've got the last. Let me see what this loop is. Let me see what the time is, Chris. The last 3 hours, I have deep, intense convection that exploded on the southwestern eye wall, and it's now made its way all the way around the east-northeast side. Look at the loop on the IR 13 channel, and look how you've got overshooting tops minus 80. I'm 40. I'm 80, negative 80 C now in the northeast eye wall, exploding of new convection. I got overshooting domes. I got intense lightning and thunderstorms exploding in the northwest, northeast eye wall. I think it's intensifying. Okay, it's shrinking in size. So we've got an intensifying hurricane approaching then. Yeah, it looked like to me earlier it was doing that, but I didn't know if that was temporary or if it was going to be more permanent, but that's what it looks like. Okay. I see it in the southeastern flank. There's that open, dry area back southeast. It won't get real strong, but it'll maintain the two-ish, I guess, right? Right. But have you noticed how that 50 DBZ is really? Well, let me do a measurement here because it was 20 a while ago. I'm talking about across the inner eye wall. What was the last recon into it? What did it say? I have 18 miles to the eye. It was like 22 early. It's shrunk about 4 miles roughly. Yeah, it's down maybe about 3 miles smaller now. It's a little bit smaller. The eye's getting a little bit tighter. So we're gonna have, if it does that, or if it gets down to that 10-mile eye wall or something, we're gonna potentially have an intensifying hurricane as it approaches the coast after midnight. The winds here are really picking up. The winds are tearing the tops of the overshoots off the beach here, off the top here. What is? I couldn't hear you, Chris. At what city? Yeah, it's our city. Yes, they did. Hey, off the Moorhead City radar, I don't know if it's overcalculating this or not. It could be. I'm showing in the northeast quadrant eye wall, I've got 100, roughly a big area of 100 to 116. There's a 125, 121, 112, 111, about 30 miles northeast of the eye wall. 80, 90. Okay. Yep. Is a Hurricane Hunter in the eye wall now? It just came out of the eye wall. Was there any special comments from the Hurricane Hunter? Like how far north of the hurricane, how the hurricane force winds? Okay, how far north does the hurricane force winds extend from the center or from the north eye wall? Did it say that? I guess on 5 o'clock advisory. I'm 60 miles, so we should have hurricane force winds. Obviously, we do on shore. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna reposition, and I'm gonna watch it like a hawk. If you think it's gonna keep I'm gonna watch it like a hawk as we go forward here and see if that's what happens, or if it's gonna, miss us here. So I've got 5-6 hours before the onslaught hits us. Sounds like roughly, right? Okay. Power may be out. I'm gonna have to put my overhead. I'm gonna have to turn off the deal. Hey, let me got some autofocus stuff going on with the camera here. I'm gonna fix that. Bye bye. Stand. I'm gonna try to fix this real quick.